Did you know your body can literally react to extreme danger in less than a single second? Like way before you even consciously realize what's going on? Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the absolute coolest biological engineering feats in your nervous system, the reflex arc. It's basically your body's built-in automatic defense mechanism. If you're prepping for your O-level biology exams, mastering this exact sequence is absolutely crucial for scoring big marks. But honestly, even beyond the exam room, understanding this hidden pathway is just incredible for appreciating how your body keeps you safe every single day. All right, let's quickly run through our game plan for today. First, we'll look at the body's alarm system. Then we'll break down the stimulus and the spinal cord, map out the 5-step reflex arc, compare voluntary and involuntary actions, and wrap it all up with a quick-fire biology recap.
Okay, part 1, the body's alarm system. Less than 1 second. Just think about that for a moment. I really want to emphasize the sheer raw speed of this system. When we talk about a reflex action, like accidentally touching a searing hot stove and instantly pulling your hand back, that entire massive mechanical reaction happens in literally a fraction of a second. It's a biological imperative designed completely 100% for speed. So, to understand this, we need to break down the nervous system. On one side, we have the central nervous system, or the CNS. Think of this as your main command center. It's made up of your brain and your spinal cord. Then, contrasting that, we have the peripheral nervous system, or PNS. This is the physical wiring, right? The sensors and muscles that actually connect that CNS command center out to the rest of your body. You absolutely need both systems to communicate, but they play very distinct structural roles. Moving right along to part 2, stimulus and the spinal cord. Let's pin down the very first variable in this biological sequence, the stimulus. A stimulus is basically any detectable change in your environment. So imagine touching a hot object. That intense heat, that is the detectable change. It's the exact trigger that kicks off this whole high-speed mechanical process.
And right after that input, we get the output, what we call the response. This is exactly how your body reacts to that initial stimulus. In our hot object example, it's the physical action of quickly withdrawing your hand. So the biggest thing to remember here is this foundational input-to-output relationship. Stimulus comes in, response goes out. Now, to actually get from that stimulus to the response, your spinal cord acts as the ultimate mediator. And traffic here is highly directional. We've got 2 specific routes in the spinal cord handling this flow. First is the dorsal route, and its main job is to carry incoming sensory info to the central nervous system. On the flip side, we have the ventral route. This pathway sends outgoing motor commands from the CNS directly back out to your muscles. So sensory information flows in one way, and motor commands flow right back out the other. All right, here's the main event, part 3, the 5-step reflex arc. Before we actually map out the steps, we need to talk about the core structural mechanic at play here. The reflex arc ensures this crazy speed by completely bypassing the brain's higher centers. Seriously, this is a massive concept. By using this specific pathway, your body essentially cuts the brain entirely out of the decision-making loop just to save a few precious milliseconds. It's explicitly engineered for rapid, automatic self-preservation. Okay, let's trace this step by step and track the invisible cellular mechanics of touching, say, a hot candle flame. Step 1. The receptor. Pain receptors in your skin detect the extreme heat and immediately generate a nerve impulse. Step 2. That impulse travels rapidly along the sensory neuron, acting like a high-speed highway straight towards your spinal cord. Step 3. Once inside the spinal cord, the impulse is instantly transferred to a relay neuron. Step 4. This relay neuron then passes the impulse directly to a motor neuron, which is basically your outgoing highway. And finally, Step 5. The effector. The motor neuron activates the muscles in your arm, and boom, you physically pull your hand away from the flame. So again, that's receptor, sensory neuron, relay neuron, motor neuron, and effector. That is your complete high-speed biological circuit. Next up, part 4, voluntary versus involuntary actions. It's super important to clearly contrast these 2 concepts. On one hand, we have voluntary actions. These are things that actually require conscious thought, like you decide to pick up a pen or turn the page of a textbook. But on the other hand, we have involuntary actions, and this is exactly where reflexes live. They are automatic, they are lightning fast, and they happen entirely without any conscious decision-making. You really don't want to mix these 2 up on test day. And that brings us to a really common error we need to clear up regarding the command centers. The brain's higher centers are literally bypassed during reflexes. Contrast that with the spinal cord. It's the spinal cord that primarily handles and mediates these reflex actions. Knowing exactly which structure is running the show during a reflex arc is absolutely vital for your understanding. Finally, let's bring it all home with Part 5, a quick fire biology recap. Let's rapidly summarize the core takeaways we've built today. First, your nervous system is a combination of the CNS and the PNS. Second, a stimulus always triggers a response. Third, reflex actions are classified as automatic and super rapid. And fourth, tracing the arc itself gives us those 5 key components: receptors, sensory neurons, relay neurons, motor neurons, and effectors. And here's a massive exam tip for you. Practice actually drawing and tracing the reflex arc pathway on paper, and be totally clear on how it's different from a voluntary action. When you sit down for that O-level biology exam, clearly explaining this exact sequential flow can absolutely make the difference in earning full marks. So, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. Besides pulling away from extreme heat, what other automatic reflexes has your body engineered to protect you every single day? Think about those involuntary reactions you experience without ever giving them a second thought. It's pretty wild. Keep exploring your own biology, practice tracing those physical pathways, and we'll see you in the next explainer.